Hey, everybody. I am so excited to bring a great service to you guys. This is service that's I've used before. This is called Roofstock. I've looked through it. I've used it. I've actually ran through numbers with it. And I brought somebody on that works with Roofstock. His name is Andrew. He is somebody that's going to be walking us through the entire process of looking at all the properties that Roofstock has. So a little bit about what Roofstock is. It's basically a marketplace for investors like you and me to find properties, as well as on top of that. It's not just like a Zillow or an MLS. It actually runs the numbers for you. It makes you an even better investor than you possibly could be just on your own. It gives you a lot of extra numbers that you might not even have thought of. On top of that, it'll help you to have a good basis for when you start running your own numbers. You'll use their numbers from everything from how much it might rent for, what the taxes are, insurance, expenses, things like that. On top of that, you'll have their information and you can match it up with yours. So you're making the best decision possible. All right. Hey, Andrew, thank you so much for being on with me. And I'm really excited to show everybody this great service.
Thanks so much for the intro, Dustin. Really great to meet everyone and be here to take you guys through a quick walkthrough of Roofstock, the platform, what our service offers, and hopefully how we can help make it really easy for you to begin investing in rental property by leveraging Dustin's insight and expertise and our kind of technology and marketplace and tool set. Just to tell you a little bit about me, I work here on the marketing team at Roofstock. I've been with the company for just over 2.5 years, and we initially launched our marketplace in early 2016. We've continued to expand the number of markets that we're serving and the client base, and it's a platform of rental properties that is really looking to serve individual investors who want to invest remotely. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that I can take you through a few, I think, interesting elements of what our website has to offer. So let me go ahead and do that now. All right, Dustin, so you can confirm for me that you should be able to see my screen.
Sure can.
Okay, great. So this is roofstock.com in all of its glory. The main point of our homepage is here just to help you really get an understanding of what Roofstock has to offer investors and where kind of some of our advantages lie compared to other ways of buying real estate online. So a few things I want to point out here quickly. We currently offer or have expanded our marketplace to include 40 states across the country. So we offer quite a bit of geographic diversity in terms of where you can find listings, although at any given point, inventory levels will fluctuate across those different states. Since our inception, we have completed over $1 billion in collective transaction volume, and that is a collection of having sold properties both to individual investors, presumably like yourselves, as well as very large institutions, firms like, for example, the big one is American Homes for Rent. These kinds of companies that own in excess of 50,000 rental units across the country, they rely on our services and our expertise to help them, negotiate and transact large deals. And so we are a resource not only for individual investors, but also for some of the biggest institutions in the rental property space. And then here's a mention about our Roofstock guarantee, which I'm going to dive into in a little bit more detail later on, but something for us to come back to. Down here, the only other thing that I wanted to highlight on our homepage is that there's a collection of essentially customer testimonials from investors that have purchased through Roofstock. I know that it can be really helpful, especially when you're making an investment, a purchase of this size, with a company that you might be new to you, to really understand what kinds of experiences other investors have had. And so I would definitely encourage you to take a look through the different case studies here, and you can click into each one to learn a little bit more about their specific experience. But I think that'll be really useful as well. So now that I've had a chance to walk you through that, I also wanted to show you there's another tab here under Learn, which is going to basically give you a high-level overview of how the Roofstock investing experience works. Again, this is pretty similar to what I described earlier, but want you to know that it's here if you want to revisit it. And again, just kind of dive into a more detailed breakdown of what the process looks like from beginning your search all the way to closing. And then finally, I also wanted to show you the markets page here. This is a list of all the states that we are active in. And so you can see the full list down here below. And this will give you a quick kind of overview of where we have available inventory at any given point in time. And we'll come back to this map momentarily. So now I want to switch into what is really the kind of bread and butter of Roofstock, which is our marketplace. So right now you can see that we have collectively 387 properties available across our marketplace for investors to dive into. Obviously, that can be a little bit overwhelming for someone who's just getting started and trying to understand what the right rental property is for them and their investment strategy. I think as you continue working with Dustin, kind of some of the specifics around how do I evaluate a rental property, what should I be looking for, what are the most important metrics, those things will likely come into a more kind of clear view as you continue to work with Dustin. But I'm going to kind of show you where you can find different pieces of information so that once you're really ready to start doing some of the analysis and searching and kind of narrowing down what we like to call your buy box, so to speak, essentially, the list of criteria or filters that you want to apply to find the right property for you. So at a really high level, these are the individual listings that we have on the site, and they kind of just highlight some of the key metrics, which is current rent, cap rate. This total return figure is our estimation of what you would stand to earn if you were to purchase the property and sell it 5 years from today. So that's a figure that we think is really useful for helping investors understand, how this could play out across a kind of shorter buy and hold cycle. We also have our neighborhood rating system, which I'll dive into a little bit further in detail. But that's basically our own kind of proprietary amalgamation of school scores, crime scores, the ratio of owner occupants to renters in a specific market. It's basically our way of helping you assess how do I compare one rental property in Atlanta versus one in Memphis by kind of stabilizing for some of those different neighborhood level indexes. So again, I'll show you a page where you can find a little bit more information about that shortly. Quickly, first, I want to take you through some of the ways that you can begin filtering the marketplace. Again, as I mentioned, we have over 300 properties. So to really help you start diving in, we have a couple quick and easy selection options down here to filter by some pretty standard metrics, higher yield, best schools, etc. These are just a kind of a few quick ways to begin filtering your search and to help you get started. But if you're at the point where you have a better understanding of the kind of property that you're looking for, we also have some extremely powerful and detailed filter criteria as well. So, we obviously have all the high level stuff where you're able to kind of narrow down your price range, etc. And I'm just going to kind of take you through a quick example of, what the filter criteria might help you narrow down to. So I'm going to apply list price, and let's say that I'm looking in these couple states right here for the time being. So we've narrowed down our search a little bit through those three kind of high-level filter criteria, but there's also a number of much more detailed methods for filtering. So again, looking at all the key criteria that might yield, year built, etc. And so I would absolutely advise you to kind of play through, take a look at some of the different criteria available here. I think it'll really help give you an understanding of how much detail and diligence we're providing up front for each property. And then the last thing I wanted to mention here that I think is really useful as a tool is once you set up your kind of specific filter criteria, if you choose to, you could set up an email notification system so that every time a new property hits the marketplace that matches the specific criteria that you're looking for, you'll be notified right away. So I'll just show you here that you would just simply type in the name here and save Dustin's filter. And you'll also have the option here to select how often you want to receive notifications for new properties hitting the site or the marketplace that match those criteria. So that's a quick overview of kind of how you can filter down all of the individual listings that we have on the site at any given point in time. Now I want to take you into a specific property to help you understand exactly how much information and the level of detail of data that we're providing. So we're looking right now at a property in Stone Mountain, Georgia, which is in our Atlanta, Georgia market. You're going to get really all the high level information that you need right up top in this core box, which is essentially what does my total return look like over different kind of buy and hold periods, and then some of the key metrics here, which investors typically focus on: cap rate, gross yield, and appreciation. And the nice thing about all of the numbers that we're providing here is that they are responsive to your assumptions, not merely ours. So although the list price on this property is 112, if you believe that you're going to be able to negotiate that down to some amount, you can begin kind of managing those assumptions to better specify what the returns might look like on that property. Again, depending on how much of a, if you're going to do financing and you might consider doing a down payment, all of that information here is dynamic and you can customize it to suit your needs. In terms of evaluating a specific property, we have a number of photos here, of course, as well as a floor plan. On some properties, you will also find what we call a 3D tour, which is essentially a digital model walkthrough of the house. This is a specific feature that isn't available on all properties, but it definitely helps give you a sense of the space and better understand the potential value of the home as well. And this curb view button here is a way for you to quickly take a look at Google Street View for that neighborhood, so you can get a feel for what the neighborhood looks like, etc. So I'm going to quickly reload this page because I seem to be having a little bit of an issue. Sorry about that. So moving on down, the other things that I want to highlight quickly here, you'll have an indication of occupancy. So we do offer a mix of both tenant occupied and vacant properties. For those that are tenant occupied, not only are you purchasing the property, but you're also assuming the lease as well. And that means that from the day of closing, you begin to receive rental income from the existing tenant, which we think is a huge value add, and just makes the process of you beginning to earn rental income on an investment, having purchased remotely so much more efficiently. Down here, you'll see some numbers for the lease start and end date, which is really useful. This particular property is already leased through June of next year. So that's, that might be something that's very appealing to an investor. Down here, again, the neighborhood rating system and an evaluation of the school scores, the local neighborhood. You have some tools here to help you understand what that looks like. And that's kind of important because that tends to be a significant driver of how in demand property might be and the likelihood of attracting families that tend to stay longer in a specific home because of the quality of the local schools. I'm going to go on to the next tab here. As you can see, there's a quite amount of information about the property, but I want to just kind of quickly give you an overview of everything that's available and focus on the key points here. The financials tab will take you to a kind of slightly more powerful version of what I showed you above earlier. Again, you can tweak a lot of the same assumptions in terms of evaluating for your potential loan interest rate, closing costs, etc. All the specific financial details that are going to impact your bottom line projections. And again, as I begin changing these numbers, if I were to adapt them up or down, the information that you're going to see across this table is dynamic. Moving into the analysis tab, this is where you're going to find what we call the diligence vault. So we do a lot of upfront kind of research and homework on every property that we list. And our goal is to provide that to you free of charge so that you can really understand the specifics of every property that's available for investment. The first tab here is going to be a valuation report that we create in-house by kind of combining valuations from a number of different sources. So we're not only looking at what tends to be the most popular one, which is Zillow, but we've also partnered with other major home valuation data providers like House Canary, etc. And then we take that information and do our own assessment based on all of those inputs. You'll also see a recap here of the neighborhood rating and the local school scores. This one is, I think, particularly important. This is the third-party inspection reports that we commission with an outside agency. So we work with a number of different home inspection providers who go on site to visit every property that you'll find on the marketplace. And this will give you a very high-level overview of the condition of everything in the home that could potentially incur some cost in the short term. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but again, here is your general overview. And as you begin to scroll into each one, you're going to see a much more specific breakdown of the conditions of each aspect of that home that make up these kind of major components here. We also provide a title report up front so that you can see that it is free of any potential liens. Ledger here is actually a payment history of the current tenant in the case where it is occupied. Investors sometimes are a little bit concerned that how do I evaluate the quality of a tenant that's in the home? So some tenants are better than others. This is a great way to get a sense for that by seeing how consistently they're paying rent on time. And then the last thing would just be a very basic purchase and sale agreement. So highly recommend that you take some time to look through the information contained in the diligence vault, as I think that tends to be a significant factor in evaluating what kinds of properties are going to be attractive to you. Again, we provide some of those same metrics that you saw just earlier in the report right up here up front. Same with the lease and tenant overview, as well as neighborhood, schools, and changes in rent in a specific market over time. And then the last key one I want to dive into here is kind of buying process. So here's where you're going to find information about our available financing options. We are a marketplace, so we will work with any lender and any property manager, as well as other providers, insurance, title, etc., that you feel the most comfortable working with or have a previous working relationship with. However, a lot of people are coming to Roofstock and investing in a rental property for the first time, so we're going to connect you with the best of the best in each one of those areas. Here you'll be able to take a quick look at some available financing options and available rates from some of our partners. And then down here is where you'll find property management options. This is really important because, at the end of the day, if you're going to own a property remotely for 5 to 10 years, having a really strong property manager in place is going to be a vital part of how simple and hassle-free that ownership experience is. And so we do a lot of vetting and research to suggest and recommend the most reputable and most reliable property managers in each market, because we as the marketplace know that although we are not providing those services to our investor clients, the quality of their experience once they've closed on a property manager is vital to their overall rental property investment experience. And if they have a really good experience with their property manager, they're much more likely to come back and purchase another property with us. So that is our underlying goal: is how do we make it hassle-free and easy for you to rent and own remotely by connecting you with the best property managers in each market. So Dustin, that was kind of the general overview that I wanted to dive into here. I think that provides a pretty detailed kind of overview of what's available in the marketplace, how to filter it down to the type of property that you're looking for, and then how to begin assessing individual properties. So I wanted to turn it over to you briefly, see if you had any questions or wanted me to review anything in more detail.
Yeah, so great overview. And as you're going through it, it just reminds me how much information is inside of here. It's just absolutely amazing. So as you're going through it, a number of questions came to mind that I would like for you to answer for my students. So number one, do they need to have an account in order to use the service, and should they have an account?
I would definitely recommend signing up for an account because it does provide you access to a few of the tools that I demonstrated during the process. The specific ones being the ability to save a filter or a set of filter criteria so that you can easily come back to it later and get email notifications. And it also will give you access to the diligence vault, which is where you're going to find the inspection reports and the tenant summary.
Those are terrific, yeah.
And signing up for an account with Roofstock is completely free. So all we ask is that you just create an account, providing a name, email, and phone number. And once you've done that and set up your account, you get access to a number of, I think, really valuable and powerful tools to continue evaluating listings on the marketplace.
That's absolutely amazing. I'm not just trying to hype it up or anything, because giving all this value for free is just absolutely amazing. So a big question comes up. How do you guys get paid? What's the process that you guys make money from Roofstock?
Yep, that's a fantastic question. So as the marketplace, our financial incentive is to help buyers and sellers transact through our platform. So we act as the seller broker in these transactions, and our commission on every transaction, we charge the seller a 2.5% fee of the final sale price of the property, and we also charge the buyer an upfront 0.5% buyer fee. And essentially that's our way of essentially covering the costs of all the diligence and the inspections and all of the information that we're providing to you up front as you're going through the purchase process.
So you make money on the transaction, which is awesome because you're providing such a huge value and you're making money on the transaction, which is great. So you only charge the buyer a 0.5%, which is very, very cheap. Now, for the seller, how much did you charge the seller?
We are charging them 2.5%. So that is significantly less than the fairly standard 6% commission.
Yeah, absolutely.
That a seller would expect to earn. And that's part of the reason why the marketplace is so attractive to potential sellers is we're charging them a lot less than a standard broker would. We're giving them access not just to individuals looking for rental property to purchase on their local MLS, but we're bringing potential investors from across the country and even globally, and we are marketing that property for you to this very specific audience. And in situations where you currently have a tenant in the property but are looking to sell as quickly as possible, you don't need to wait for that lease to expire. You can list that property with the tenant and sell it just as quickly. And on the buyer side, that is a value add for them as well. So we want to make the fact that there's a tenant in the home a benefit for both the buyer and seller rather than a hindrance in the event that they have to traditionally wait for the lease to expire before they can list it, etc.
That's great. So these properties, are they exclusive to Roofstock, or are they on the MLS or any place else?
So the vast majority of the properties that you're going to find here are exclusive to Roofstock, with one exception. So I'm going to go back here to the marketplace view. We have this new property type called partner listings, and what those are essentially we do a lot of research into understanding the types of properties that investors are looking for. And based on, historical sale performance and the types of properties people are clicking on, searching for, etc., we have a pretty good understanding of the global buy box for our customer base at large. So what we've begun doing is actually putting that data and that insight to use and going out to the MLS in certain key markets and actually taking properties that are on the MLS and listing them on Roofstock through this partner listings heading. So those are properties that you would be able to find on the MLS in those respective markets. But that currently comprises just 52 properties of the over 300 that we have. Everything else is going to be entirely exclusive to the Roofstock marketplace.
Got it. And that's great. Either way, I mean, deals that are able to jump on that are a good price is great. And what I've found also with Roofstock is you're taking a whole nother type of buyer out of the market, out of the equation. So regular homeowners, we're not competing against homeowners. And so homeowners jack prices up because they get all bought in on a house. They're like, oh, I love the curtains. I love this, that. And so price goes up, which as investors, we want the price to go down. So
sure,
that's great. So another question I have is, if we were going to make an offer, do we go through Roofstock? Do we contact somebody else? How do we go about making an offer?
The entire transaction experience, for the most part, takes place online, which makes things really easy. Just trying to track down the specific rental property we were looking at here. But essentially, you're going to make your bid here. You'll have an opportunity to review the bid, and then you would submit that by going through the sequence entirely online. We would then send that to the seller for their review. And they would have an answer back for you on whether or not they've accepted that that offer or have decided to make a counter offer, typically within 24 to 48 hours. So everything is done essentially through the Roofstock site and through the individual member of the advisory team that you're working with over the phone. So we'll handle the negotiation for you, offers and counter offers, etc. So we make that part of the process really easy. Essentially, most of the heavy lifting all takes place through the website. Everything else, that needs to be done, quote unquote, the old fashioned way, we will handle for you over the phone.
That's great. So all my students and listeners have known me to not be for turnkey properties, and this is not a turnkey property system, because with turnkey properties, a big problem is you don't get the deal where, the person that already set up the business, already bought the property, already got the renter, and they're selling you basically a pre-done property. They're taking their cut. And so you're not getting any equity capture by buying it lower than the market value. So here we can actually put in offers lower, like if the list price is $112,000 on this property. If we want to put in, because I usually at least take off maybe 10% just to start, because unless I run the numbers and it's even more, or it's a bigger market or a harder market to get a property, then I might go a little closer. But I look at always offering lower because I want to get a good deal. I mean, you don't have unless you ask. And so I figure let's put an offer for $100,000 and see what they do. If they come back and say, and counter, come down maybe $4 or $5 grand. Hey, that's just $4 or $5 grand that you put in your pocket by not paying that over. So I love that it gives you so many tools to use, but you still are able to build your business. And Andrew, when you talked about the property managers, scroll down a little bit so you can see the property managers.
Yep. Let me just go over into that tab and.
Okay, there you go.
I just wanted to touch on quickly, since you mentioned it, I think one key advantage of Roofstock compared to traditional turnkey is that with a lot of those options, their goal is not only to sell you the property, but to continue earning the proceeds from managing that property for you. And therefore, they have a financial incentive to, A, sell you the most expensive property that they can, but then also that, increases the property management fee over time that they'll collect from you. Whereas our approach is with, for example, Excalibur Homes or Specialized, through our partnerships with them, we're basically going to them and saying, hey, we expect to send you a lot of business from Roofstock investors. In exchange, we would love to see a more competitive property management fee that we can offer our investors to make your services more attractive to them. So, there's much better kind of financial incentive benefit or relationship with the property managers that we're working with. So we're not getting any kickbacks or any cut of what they're earning. Our goal is really to just connect you with some of the best property managers in each market and help you make a well-informed decision by providing you a rate sheet for each of them.
That's terrific. And so, I mean, if you just look at this one, Excalibur Homes, 6% of monthly rent, more often than not, an average is about 10%. There are some areas of the country where I invest where they do a flat fee of like $100 or something like that. So you need to know what the market is wherever you're investing. Like in this specific area in Georgia, it could be that 6% is really, really low, which it seems like because you have two other companies that are charging 8%. So that might be a great company. Obviously, we don't go off a price. As I teach all of my students, it's, can you continue working with this property management company for 10 years? Because like you said, Andrew, you want a property that's going to be lasting for a long time. And when you pick a property manager, you want to select them well. Don't just go off a price. Like you need to call them. Even though Roofstock has done due diligence for you to find property managers, you also want to interview them to make sure you're picking the one that fits your business the best. And so, yeah, I love that. Basically, everything is really well itemized out. And it walks through the entire process so that somebody that doesn't even have any properties can literally find a property on here, see and run the numbers and realize they're going to be making money every single month, that their return in 5 years could potentially appreciate, and even have property managers set up. And all these, all the due diligence alone is a lot of work that you guys actually go through, which is amazing. And all those PDFs that you can get per property and seeing the inspections, it's amazing how much information is done for you. So this is so much better than any other property database website that you could go out and find. You're going to be able to find so many different, so much more information on a property. And on top of that, you got properties that are off the listing, off the MLS, so that
that's right,
normal market's going to find. So, and you could also put in your own offer. It's so many great things about Roofstock. So I fully love everything that Roofstock puts out. So is there anything else that we should know about Roofstock, Andrew?
There is one last thing that I wanted to share with you. And that is something that I touched on a little bit earlier and mentioned I would come back to. Let me make sure this is the right page. But essentially, I wanted to also touch on the Roofstock Guarantee. So that is a program that we've put in place. Again, understanding that for remote investors looking to buy, potentially their first rental property, maybe it's their 10th, but buying a physical asset of any kind with an investment of this size is always challenging and is always difficult. So we've taken a few steps to kind of provide peace of mind and some amount of kind of guaranteed satisfaction. So all the properties that we list and sell through our site come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. What that essentially means is if you buy something through us, if within 30 days, for example, some key aspect of the house is not in the condition that we stated it was on the inspection report when you purchased it, we will relist that property for you and find another seller to take it off your hands. So that's really important just because, it gives you that flexibility to just feel confident that, not only are we putting all this data in front of you, but we absolutely 100% stand by everything that we're sharing with you. And if for some reason you find that the home was not in the condition that we stated, we're going to make that right by our customers. So
that's absolutely amazing. You would never get that from any realtor at all. They would never take that property back. That's fantastic.
And then there's one other component of the Roofstock Guarantee, which is around rent on vacant homes. So again, understanding that the ideal kind of investment experience here is buying a property that is already tenant occupied, already cash flowing. We also have a fair amount of the inventory on our site is vacant for a number of different reasons. Either the lease had expired, or we're listing and selling something that wasn't previously tenant occupied, etc. And so the way that we want to help you feel comfortable knowing that this is going to be an income producing property very quickly is we essentially are guaranteeing that we will begin paying rent, or rather that you will begin earning rental income within 45 days from your closing date. So essentially what that means is if there's not a tenant in the property at the time of purchase, as long as you've decided to work with a Roofstock certified property manager, which are the ones that you're going to find on that tab that I shared earlier, it is their responsibility to find you a paying tenant within 45 days of the closing process. Because essentially they don't make money if you're not making money. If for any reason they're not able to meet that obligation, Roofstock will actually begin paying you 90% of the rent, of the market rent on that property after 45 days until the day or the period in which a tenant has been located and moved into the property. So that's kind of what we call the rental income guarantee, or the guaranteed rent portion of our broader Roofstock guarantee. But essentially it boils down to, even if you're buying vacant, you're going to be earning rental income within 45 days.
That's amazing. Both those guarantees back to back are absolutely terrific. So that is, I can't see, or I have not personally seen a better way to find properties and have a well-run business already basically set up. You just got to walk through the process. So great, Andrew. Is there anything else that we should know?
No, that was the only things that I wanted to share with you for now. If you're even considering or curious and learning more about Roofstock, as I mentioned before, we have an advisory team that you can call at any time that's here to answer your questions and really walk you through everything that Roofstock has to offer from start to finish. So please don't ever hesitate to call. You could find a link to schedule a call actually up here on pretty much any of the pages on our site to talk to an advisor and schedule a time. And I would highly encourage you to take advantage of that once you're ready to begin learning more about the investment process with Roofstock.
That's great. And hey, Andrew, thank you so much for being a part of this. And everybody watching, I hope you got a lot out of this, because there's so many great things that Roofstock has to offer. Now, if you would help me out, I have an affiliate link that you can go through. It's masterpassiveincome.com/Roofstock. It'll send you over. Obviously, it doesn't cost you anything. It's absolutely free for you to use. It just shows that you're one of my students or you're working with me. And you guys, I really hope that you even just get into the site and start getting the idea of buying your first property or even your fifth property and growing a business that's going to be automatic for you, where you have a property manager that is watching over your business and running your business for you, and you make money every single month. So, hey, Andrew, thank you again. I really, really appreciate you guys and you being here, and everybody else along watching us, that hopefully everybody got a lot out of it as much as we did.
Yeah, my pleasure, Dustin. Thanks everyone for tuning in and watching. And I hope everything that I walk you through has been really informative and helpful. And again, our team is always available to answer any specific questions. So again, appreciate your time, everyone. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, guys.